Hey YouTube. So this is devlog number 3, and in this one, I've been focused very much on the geography of the game I'm making, the terrain. So for those who don't know, I'm making a game about natural history and the history of the planet and life on Earth. Part of the premise of the game is to be able to go back in time and see the Earth at all its different stages and interact with the animals and things like that. Or at least that's the work in theory. Right now, just focused on building the game engine and the kind of the world systems and things like that. So this last dev log has been called Strata, uh, in honor of geography in general. So that's the first one. The other one is called Lichen, and that's to do with the materials of the world. So I'm just gonna jump straight in here. Um, the first thing you'll notice now in the editor is that you are now presented with an actual fully realized world. So same as before, we have an endless terrain. I have an endless terrain here implemented, right? So this will just keep on going. But what's different from the last time is instead of it just being noise everywhere, now we actually have biomes defined. So this world is defined as a temperate world. So high moisture, cooler temperatures, things like that, and there are various biomes within that. So in this particular case, we have, if I'm looking at the world here, we can see like a mountainous area, right? And that mountainous area is then followed next to it with some plains. Um, so you can define as many biomes as you want, but I think practically it's very hard to keep adding them, and the expense gets greater, like the processing required gets greater, limitations on how many textures you can use, things like that. So I've kind of gone for like this kind of sweet spot, what I consider a sweet spot, and it allows me to do one of the sort of goals of the game, which is to take you back in time to a certain location and point in time. So in this particular world that we're looking at now, so this is obviously an example of a temperate world, but let's just shake things up here now. I'm going to click on the little world icon here. We can change the seed if we want, and we can go to an arid world, and it'll regenerate the world, and just like that, we're now in an arid world. So in the game, the thinking is when the player gets, through the portal, that's going to take them back in time. This is the sort of system that they're going to be seeing, right? They're going to be taken to a completely different terrain. And in this one, I still defined mountains, but you can see I also defined like sand dunes. So this one has like these, endless sand dunes. And then here it has like more kind of rocky, pathy areas. And then eventually there's this like tiger rock area. And something that's really cool, I'm just going to go back to the temperate world for a second. So all players, all people who use this engine, game editor, product, when you come in, you can obviously make use of this procedural world. If I just create a new world, I get this for free. Endless worlds, it's all there. But let's say let's say I actually want to make a game, and I want to actually refine this a little bit more. I can do that. And so at the moment, because everything's generated procedurally, there is zero memory stored, right? Other than what you're seeing in the browser, like in your own computer's memory. But if I refresh the page, it'll take me back to the same spot, same location. See, cost me nothing. 0 megabytes are saved. But let's say I do want to do something here. Let's say I like this mountainous area, but I want it to be much more mountainous. So I can go ahead and I can like raise the terrain here, right? So I can start to raise this. Let's actually do quite a bit here. So I'm going to start to raise this quite a bit. And what you'll notice here is as this actually gets raised, the same rules that apply in the creation of the world are still applied here. So, a sheer cliff is going to be rock, and a flat part of the mountain is going to be the grass. But as I climb, you can see how it now starts to become snow. So I don't have to go in there and paint the snow and paint the rock and paint the grass. It just knows which biome I'm looking at, and as I paint those elevations, it will react accordingly. But you can hack that system as well. Like, let's say maybe I like this like plain area here, but I kind of want to change the biomes. So the biomes I currently have available here are plains, forest, and mountain. So this is obviously plains, but let's say that I actually want this to be forests. So I'm on a plains biome right now, but I actually can go in here and I can paint the forest on here, and you can see it's now painting that forest. And then the cool thing is I can save this and refresh it, and all of that is saved. And what's cool is that it's saved only the parts that I edited, right? So this mountainous section that I created, it's still there. And in memory, it's just a tiny little bit, it's just a few kilobytes. So you get for free this endless world, but you can create parts of the world that maybe you want to have more focus on. So yeah, that's what has been the focus of that particular milestone. Obviously, a huge amount of work went into the biomes, the layers, all that. And again, the same principle still applies, which is I want this game to be as kind of user friendly as possible. So you can just come in here and start to work with it. But I do want like a future where people can, developers can add their own kind of layers and biomes and things like that. But for most lay people, they can just come in here and start to use this and create cool games and cool experiences. Now, that's on top of the core game that I'm trying to make. I guess what I'm trying to say here is like there's a core game, which is shipping, obviously, and then there'll be the editor part. So core game, editor. The other big thing that's working on here is the materials, which we've kind of already seen here, right? So previously it was all using Phong materials, which is a type of rendering method for drawing the material on the terrain, but everything has been upgraded to physically based rendering. And what's kind of cool is the visual quality has really jumped up massively here. But also, we can just clear the console. We can see there's a lot of like little debugger things you can use to interact with this system. But let's just go ahead and let's look for the reference grid. Okay. So we have a reference grid here. So as you can see, these little balls in the world here, this is a reference grid just helping me and artists just generally like see what the physically based materials are looking like in this world, right? And how the shading models are actually like being applied to the models and what they look like. And you can kind of use it to see if there's any bugs. There's actually a ton of different like debugger tools that are available, and they're all accessed via the console, the Chrome, the dev console. So big update. Lots of improvements just to performance, terrain in general, and still tweaking the sky, but I think the sky is looking a lot better now. I love how the world is just like changing. Look, I mean, that just looks so cool now. And yeah, it's an exciting one. Love to hear any feedback people have. The next milestone will actually start to see things getting into this world, not just world generation. So that, I think that's on the near horizon. Either that or a focus on like scripting and gaming behaviors and things like that. So that's currently where we're at with everything. And obviously, there's also minor things like the UI, just slowly starting to improve the UI. That has just not been a focus for me yet. It will become a focus eventually, but for now, it's not. But yeah, I guess that's it. That's it for this one. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Blue Sky. I'll leave the details in the video, and Instagram as well for those who are interested to follow me there. My name is Matt, and enjoying this, even though it's really difficult. But yeah, any feedback is more than welcome, and looking forward to seeing you in the next one. See ya.